Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chai with Us podcast. This is episode number 19. Oh my God. I am Erica, the personal developer.
And I'm Ivana from Okolo Isabel's. So today I'm drinking a citrus iced tea. What about you?
Me too. Me too, with a little bit of honey.
Yes,
That,
same here.
yeah, it's good for our throat. I'm still.
Yes,
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about decision making. A lot of us have problems making decisions. Like
yes.
which is the way to go? There's too much information, too little information. I don't know what to do. Who can help me? We have a lot of problems making decisions, and
Mhm.
sometimes we don't even realize that we are making decisions the
Mhm.
entire day,
Yes.
right?
Mhm. I agree. So what do you think? Are you okay?
I am okay almost.
So what do you think is the first thing a person needs to do when they're trying to decide on something?
Well, there are a lot of things that people can do. First thing, I would say that you always talk about making a list of pros and cons.
Mhm.
So I
Yes.
would say that this is like the obvious thing that you should do. I mean, if
Mhm.
you have a lot of cons, what are you doing? But
Yes.
sometimes you have a lot of cons, but you still want to do it,
Mhm.
because sometimes you have a risky decision. So I would say making a list of pros and cons and
Mhm.
taking a look at the pros, taking a look at the cons, and think about the cons. Can you take it? Can you take it?
Mhm.
Do you think it's okay? and
Mhm.
and think about it and go deep so you can make the decision,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So this would be
Yeah.
one of the things.
Mhm.
You have a lot of things to say as well.
Yeah, I think for me it would be like listening to your gut instinct. Like,
Yeah.
how does your stomach feel? Like, check in with those butterflies.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Like, let's say that you decide to take this road, and how does that make you feel? Like when you're on the road, like project yourself
Mhm.
forward into the future and think about like how would you feel if you already made a decision, and then think about like what happens if you decide not to go? Like, would you feel then? And so like
Mhm.
listen to your stomach and see like which decision feels right for you.
I have a different process, but it's pretty much the same thing that you just said, but in a different way. And I will comment so people can just see what works for them. For me, it really works, right? So
Hmm.
you have to check, where do you feel your instinct? You know what I mean? Where do you feel? Where do you usually feel your pain, your fear, where do you
Hmm.
feel it? And then place your hand wherever. I like to place my hand in my heart because that's where I feel things. Some
Hmm.
people place them in their stomach, because they feel
Hmm.
things over there as well. So I like to place my hands in my heart. So what I do is that I say it out loud,
Hmm.
whatever is the thing. So I make a sentence, in a positive, like a positive affirmation, right?
Okay.
And I see how I feel, how my heart feels. If I feel calm and nice and or excited,
Hmm.
that's the way to go. And then I try to say the affirmation, but like in the negative form, and I see
Hmm.
how it feels. And I try
Hmm.
to feel. It's just basically what you said, but in a different way. It's just
Yes.
thinking about how would you feel if you don't do the thing, or how would you feel if you don't have the person? How would you
Hmm.
feel if you have the person? How would you feel if you would meet? How would you feel if you don't meet? So you can
Hmm.
imagine both things, both situations, and see how it feels in your body. And you can also do this, say it in a positive way and then in the negative way, just the
Hmm.
exact same sentence of the situation. And I think
Yeah.
that's a great way of figuring out like which way to go.
And I think most of the time we go with our first decision. So like let's say you're in a grocery store and you're trying to pick up like a cereal box. You pick up one, then you put it down, then you look at like 10 more, and then you go back to the first one you picked up. So trust yourself. I
Yeah.
think a lot with decision making has to do with like do you trust yourself? Because if you trust yourself, you trust that you make the right decision for yourself.
Yes, exactly. It all usually that's it. That's it. Because the first decision is your instinct, and then
Mhm.
your brain starts to ta da 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 da. So then you
Mhm.
kind of like suppress whatever you were thinking and
Mhm.
whatever decision you were thinking about making.
Mhm.
Can you give us the example about pulling forwards
Ah, yes.
or backwards? I
So
love
this
it.
thing that I learned from Mind Valley, and I'm sorry because I don't remember who the teacher was, but it was from Mind Valley. And what she said to do is to take a piece of food and put it in like at your like at the same level as your stomach, and completely relax your body and take a few deep breaths. And what you'll start to notice, you will either be pulled forward or you'll be pulled back. So when you're pulled forward, it means that the food is good for you. When you're being pulled backwards, it means the food is not good for you. And and you have to completely relax, because sometimes you might just stay neutral, and if you stay neutral, that means that it's neutral. It doesn't hurt or harm you. And so you can do this with food, you can do this with medicine, and you can even do this without knowing what the food is. So somebody can hold something like behind your back, and you'll still start to feel the pull. And the first time you go backwards, it's so scary because you can't believe it's actually like happening. But I started doing this, and it totally works. So try it out. Just like take a piece of food, hold it at your center, and completely relax, and close your eyes, and take a couple of deep breaths, and you'll start to feel like either being pulled forward or being pulled backwards. And you can do this with vitamins and medicine as well. Like maybe take one pill and then take 2 pills. And so 2 pills might be good for you, but 3 pills might be bad for you. And so this is a great tool that I learned, and I've been doing it. And I think it's the first time it happens, you can't believe it's actually happening. It's so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. And I think this works with so many things. Like, I think it works with people as well. Like to
Yes.
feel, are you drawn to this person, or do you feel contracted when this person is around you? It's a sign, when you have to when you have to make a decision on, should I be with this person? Should I not be with this person? Do you feel open, or do you contract
Yes.
when you see this person?
That's so true, because
Do
that
you
goes
go
back to those
backward?
butterflies that we talk about. Like, is your
Yes.
stomach in butterflies and all knotted up? Are you tense?
Yeah, that should help you in your decision making. But sometimes we know the decision, but we don't act on it. Like,
Yes.
what should people do in those cases? What should they do when you already have, well, when you already know what to do, you made the decision, but you are in the fence?
I think it's like when you're like scared to do something. So basically, if you don't make a decision, the decision will be made for you. I'm a big believer in that. That has been my experience. Like, I was waiting to decide whether I was going to go help out somewhere, and I kept on putting off the decision, putting it off. Well, then they found somebody else. And so because I didn't make the decision was made for me. So what I would say is, if you know, 1, 2, 3, do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 1,
Yeah,
2, 3, just
exactly.
do it.
That's
Because
true.
you already know. So trust yourself, and trust that you're on the right path, and that the decision is right for you. And then just do it.
And think about if you actually decided it, or if you are not sure. Because sometimes we decide things. It happens to me sometimes. Like, I make the decision that I'm going to do something. Right? I make this decision, and then I postpone it. I don't know. And then I realized that it was not it was not the time. It's not that I was procrastinating. It just basically was not the time. You know what I mean? There's like there's a lot of things going on, but just be sure that what Ivana told us is right now, it's true. If you don't make the decision is going to be made for you. And you get to choose if you want to participate, or if you want to be passive, if you want to drive the car, or if you want to let someone else drive the car for you.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
I think I stole it from someone, because it's very normal, right? I stole it from someone, but okay, thank you, person. I don't know who you are, but it's a very good analogy. But a lot of things that we share here, they are like common sense. They are like things that we have learned from our teachers, our masters, our classes, our things that we learned with our professions and experiences. So a lot of things are recycled, right?
Yeah. What would you say to the fence sitters? Like, would you add anything about that? Like, what we mean by fence sitters are people that are always sitting on a fence. They're not picking left or right. They're just like in the middle, and they just are not indecisive.
Yeah, I would tell those people to work on their self-confidence, so they can be able to make the decisions for themselves. Because you can go through life and people will tell you who you are, what you should be doing, and everything. But it's way more interesting to be yourself. So I would work on self-confidence, because if you are confident in yourself, then you can ask for advice, and you can look for things and try to learn, but you don't stand in the fence for and I mean, you can't be like that your entire life. Life
Yeah.
will hit you in the face over and over until you learn how to make decisions, I think.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's hard. For example, like if you're living with a very conservative family or you grew up in a
Mm.
certain culture, like your parents make the decisions for you and you never question it. Like I first remember how old I was when I made a decision that was not what my parents wanted me to do. And I think I was 24. And it was something so stupid and simple. Like they liked a picture of the composite that we took that's going to be our picture when we graduate law school. And I didn't like that picture. I liked another picture. And so when
Yeah.
the time came to make a decision, I chose the picture that I liked and not theirs. And that is
Mm.
the first time I remember that I was like not doing something that they wanted me to do. And so maybe
Mhm.
the reason that like you're so indecisive is maybe you've had like parents that always made the decisions for you, so you never trusted yourself. So I
Mhm.
think it takes some time to like to start trusting yourself and coming to your own and start making your own decisions for your life.
Yeah, yeah, and it's good to go back in time and see where is this indecisiveness coming from. Probably from your childhood, Ivana. You're totally right. I think it probably comes from childhood trauma,
Mhm.
like all the like all of our
Like
crazy,
everything else.
like everything else. It comes from our childhood, but it's normal because when we are kids, we are assimilating things and we're not questioning
Mhm.
it. Like you don't
Mhm.
have the maturity in your brain to
Mhm.
question what people are doing and what they are telling you. You are too small, your brain didn't develop yet.
Mhm.
So it's normal that we have certain beliefs and behaviors that that we think we
Yeah.
cannot control and that we think it's ours because we were so little when people told us certain things that we kind
Mhm.
of assume it's ours. So yeah, check about, just try to figure out where does this indecisiveness come from and
Mhm.
just address it. And as I said, work on your self confidence because a
Yes.
confident person doesn't go around waiting for people to decide what they're going to do with their lives. Because at the end of the
Mhm.
day, it's your life. That's
Mhm.
you should be doing, making the decisions.
Yes.
That's it.
And I think it's important to remember is that like your decisions affect your life, not somebody else. You will always have people coming and telling you what to do, but at the
Mhm.
end of the day, they're not the ones that have to live with the decision. You do. So you only
Yeah.
have to make yourself happy. So if you're okay with the decision that you've made, then that's all that matters, not what other people think.
Yeah, and think about why are you making those decisions? Why are you letting people making the decisions for you? Like you, as Vanessa said, you are going to suffer. Like
Mhm.
we are all in this together, right?
Mhm.
But we are
Mhm.
still individuals. We are still
Yes.
alone. So while everybody is happy because you are doing what they want to do, when you go to bed, you're going to be miserable.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
think
And
about
if you
it.
have to convince yourself of something, most of the time that's not the right decision. We talked about that in the previous podcast. If
Hmm.
you are sitting there and yeah, you talk yourself into doing something, an example I gave is like a Friday night class from 6 to 9 in the summer when everyone else is having fun. You're not going to enjoy that class, okay? Like you're not going to enjoy sitting there for 3 hours talking about property law while everybody else is having a barbecue or partying and having drinks. And as much as you try to talk yourself into it, let me tell you, no. From personal experience, every time you have to talk yourself into something, it's not the decision for you.
Yeah, it's totally right. It's totally right. We say, oh, but it's not that far away. It's just 1 hour. I can read a book, but they are not that bad. That's
Yeah.
you should
So,
think about
like,
it.
listen to how you talk to yourself. Like, how do you talk to yourself when you're making decisions? Like, what are you saying?
Hmm. Yeah. And we were talking about indecisive people, and I would like to talk about advice because we give advice for a living, right? That's
Yes.
what we do. That's our life. We are advice giving people. We love giving advice, but I love to give advice that sounds something like this. Yeah. Like, I don't know the entire truth, but probably it would be a good idea if, yeah,
Hmm.
something like that. And some people will
Yeah.
tell you exactly what you should be doing, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And there are all sorts of advices. And I received a lot of advices in my life
Hmm.
that I'm glad I didn't follow.
Yes.
Seriously. And I have followed advice in my life. It's just like, why did I do that? Really, seriously, like,
Yes.
did it happen to you?
Hmm. Yes.
Like, why
But
did
you
I do
learn from
that?
your past mistakes.
Yeah, but some people are still don't have their confidence in
Mhm.
themselves, and they look for advice everywhere,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
sometimes some people, I know some people that ask for advice, but they just want confirmation.
Yes, exactly.
They're like,
Yes,
do you
absolutely.
understand? I don't mind. I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
I'm like, go for it. Go get him. I love
Yes.
it. I think it's cool because I just want to, check a little bit, and it's totally fine. But some people really are looking for your advice. I felt some
Mhm.
people like desperate for me to tell them
Yes.
what they should do. But I'm not telling you what you should do. I may give you guidance, but I'm not going to tell you what you should do. And like
Mhm.
sometimes advice, well, they may be people give advice from their level of consciousness, from
Exactly.
their perspective, from what they
Mhm.
think it's right, and you know, and so sometimes the type of advice you are getting from those
Mhm.
people, it's not the type of advice that you actually want to get
Mhm.
or you
I
need.
think it's so important to remember it's like no one is living your life except you. So you're the one that has to live with the decision, not somebody else. And people are going to give you advice, but it's not going to match what you need because
Yeah.
they haven't lived your life. And only you know what is right for you, not somebody else.
Hmm. And another important thing that we sometimes don't think about it, but when you make a decision, let's go.
Yes.
There is no right decision and there is no wrong decision.
Mhm.
There's this story where like a lot of things happened, and during the story, the guy is always telling something like good or bad, who knows?
Mhm.
You will never know. Listen, you will never know. Some people are like, I should have taken that offer. Like, should you? Maybe you would take that offer and that would be horrible, or maybe you would
Mhm.
take that offer and die on the way to work. Like, you have
It's
like,
true.
seriously, how can you tell me, Ivana,
Mhm.
that you should have done something?
Mhm.
You never know. So when you make a
Exactly.
decision, just go with it because there is no wrong decision. That's the
Mhm.
decision you have made with the knowledge that you have had at the time, and that's
Mhm.
it. Just forget about it, make the decision, and let's go, because
Mhm.
good or
And
bad, who knows?
sometimes somebody makes the decision for you and you just have to go with it at that point because you have no choice. So for
Mhm.
example, like I was running trying to catch a bus to get to work and the bus driver closed the door right in front of my face and refused to let me on the bus. So he left me. So I had to wait on the next bus and I know like I was so upset. Well, guess what happens? On my next bus, we're riding by that same bus that I should have been on was broken down on the side of the road. And so like they were all stuck on the bus and they couldn't get off the bus and they're going to be late for work, and so I was on time for work. So you never know where a decision is going to lead you, and sometimes people make the decisions for you and you just have to go with it.
Yeah, exactly. You never know where the situation is gonna go, and there's no wrong, there's no right. There's just whatever you decide is okay, and you
Yes.
shouldn't feel bad for deciding something, for deciding, for deciding something.
Deciding. So can you tell us a little bit more about decision fatigue?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So decision fatigue happens when you take a lot of decisions in a short period of time, or if you have to take a lot of decisions during the day, right?
Mhm.
So it happens to us all, and we don't even realize. So you take decision after decision after decision after decision throughout the day, and of course, all this activity in the brain, it really just drains you. So what happens is that we spend our energy making decisions. So that's what we call decision fatigue, because for example, you wake up, okay, I have to brush my teeth, okay, I don't have toothpaste, should I use this one or should I use the other one? What should I wear? Should I wear a dress or should I take this in case I go to the beach? Or like, this is our head the entire day. And so some people during to this event that happens, they make decisions that help them deal with this decision fatigue, meaning making things easier for you so you can just have a more calm day and don't suffer from decision fatigue. So the time
Mhm.
that you would be spending exhausted and not being able to make more decisions, because there is only a certain amount of decision that you can make per day, because
Mhm.
then you are just too exhausted that you're not going to decide anything, or you're going to decide
Mhm.
poorly. So you can do certain things to avoid this happen to you. So some people, they wear the same clothes to work every day, so they don't
Mhm.
have to worry about clothes. For
Mhm.
me, this is impossible because I wake up and I dress up as my mood, you know, according to my mood. But if it suits you, you can use this.
Mhm.
But another thing I do, for example, and we, most of us, if you are personal developer, you kind of do these things that, which is like to prepare in advance your day.
Mhm.
What are you going to do tomorrow? For
Mhm.
example, today I knew that I was going to have a very intense day. I had
Mhm.
a lot to do today. I had editing to do, I had filming to do, I had to take care of documents. I have a meeting after we finish this. We have to record 2 episodes. And yesterday I was like, okay, before I went to bed, I thought, okay, let me write down at what time am I going to do this.
Mhm.
If I don't follow the schedule like exactly how it is,
Mhm.
it's fine. But at least I'm not gonna say, okay, I'm gonna edit this now. Okay, I have to check the documents. What
Mhm.
time is it? You know what I mean? While you are
Right.
making all these decisions, you are losing energy. And
Mhm.
once you are conscious about the decision fatigue, that it
Mhm.
exists and you can do something, you can be more productive and things will
Mhm.
run smoothly. Like right
Mhm.
now, I didn't like from the moment I woke up and until now, I didn't have to decide when I was going to do what. I
Right.
already had it. I had it covered. If you ask me to make a decision right now, I'm fine because I'm not trained.
So
So
you
these
would
are,
say that a routine would help with this, having a
yeah,
daily routine?
yeah, having a daily routine and just and preparation. I would say
Yes.
that preparation helps a lot. Like to have
Mhm.
a routine is perfect because you don't have to think about it what time you're going to do stuff, and just preparation. If you think that a big day is coming, just don't put like a big meeting in the middle of the day. You are
Mhm.
exhausted. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I wouldn't have a meeting at 6 p.m.
Mhm.
I'm exhausted at 6 p.m. I had to take a nap at 2, so you are already exhausted. So just do a little bit of preparation, and it will help you with decision fatigue. Go online
Mhm.
and look for it, look for the term, and look for things that you can do. There are a lot of other things that you can do. I
Mhm.
love to prepare my days in
Mhm.
advance, and I don't
Mhm.
always schedule the exact time, but today I felt
Mhm.
the need. So to have this flexibility and prepare things in advance, the
Mhm.
perfect to decision fatigue. Perfect.
Yeah. And I love what you said, having a daily planner that helps you like put in like how you want to spend your time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And just I think it's really good, but just be careful because if you are like me, it can be a little bit overwhelming because then I would
Right.
put a lot of things on it. Just
Mhm.
have have a few things on it or have a lot of things. Even if you have a lot of things, just usually we're gonna do like 75% on what's on the list.
Mhm.
This is
Mhm.
the normal, okay? You're not an idiot. Like sometimes I like write down 10 things and I think I'm gonna achieve all that. And like
Right.
for a fact, you're not going to do all that. On a good day, maybe. But like just assume that you are not going to do everything.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
We also want to hear from our audience. When was the last time you had to make a tough decision? What process did you use? And how did you feel about the decision once you made it?
Yeah. And I want to know, I want you to try one technique and let us know how it went.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, send us an email if you would like to chat with us podcast@gmail.com. Comment in the comment sections. We love to hear from you. Share it, subscribe. You already know what to do. Hello,
Yes.
Spotify. How are you? Thank you for listening. This is so
Yes.
cool. Thank you for listening. And thank you for watching on YouTube.
Yes. Thank you. Bye. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.